Does anybody have that undiagnosed form of Tourette's where they just kind of shout out random words and just have these like random outbursts at, unpredictable times throughout the day? Like whenever, like sometimes it can just be dead quiet and I'll just be like, muy bien. Muy bien. And I don't even remember where I got that shit from. I probably saw it one time, but that's all it takes for it to be really ingrained in your mind to the point where it's like a repetitive action that just resonates. Muy bien. Sometimes it just applies. It applies. Like, yeah, it's very good. Life is very good. I feel like it's an affirmation. It's an affirmation. My outbursts are affirmations. And sometimes they're not. Sometimes I'm just saying stupid shit like, we don't do abortion, sir. Stupid shit from videos that I've seen on TikTok and such. But anyways. Priestess, goddess, queen, empress. Welcome back to another episode of Women Gone Wild, a space where authentic, rebellious, expressive, free-spirited women who don't fit into a box are celebrated and encouraged to keep popping her shit. I'm your host, Zae, and whether this is your first time here or your 8th time here, welcome. I'm glad you fuck with me. I fuck with you too. So we just had a full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, and my, oh my, what a transformational time. For me personally, this eclipse has been very, how do I explain? Very eye-opening. I've been called to pay attention to how I communicate to myself, to the universe, how I speak life into myself. I tell you, I'm in the business of really being intentional about the energy that I exchange with people. I'm not putting up with being siphoned, being harvested, being controlled, being manipulated, being used, none of that shit. So I've been putting up some strict boundaries. And even before the lunar eclipse came, I was putting up boundaries and really assessing, what needs to stay, what needs to go, and what needs to be transformed within my life. And it's been amazing. Specifically in the realm of communication, I'm being shown that my words are very, very powerful. And so it's really important to be intentional about what I say, even in moments of frustration or feeling overwhelmed. So the other day when I was driving home, I was on the verge of having some sort of breakdown. I believe it was going to be emotional because I just felt heavy. I felt this heavy energy. I wasn't sure exactly what the source of this energy was coming from because, life is stressful, but like this energy that I was feeling was like, I couldn't place it. But I just know I just needed to release and I needed to get tears out. So I started to do some breath work in the car. And as I'm breathing and, taking in that good old prana, I start to become filled with the Holy Spirit. I mean, it was undeniable. I started to feel life enter my body and just take over. And it was to the point where all I could do was sob in gratitude and use that emotional charge to speak affirmations over my life. in case you guys don't know, the past year has been the most difficult year of my entire life. I've been through shit, but nothing like last year. And so I was overcome with this realization that I made it through that. That ain't nothing but God. Like, I made it through the most tumultuous time of my life, and I had to just re-emphasize and actualize the fact that I'm alive. So I kept saying that I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And then after like 10 minutes of that, I started to speak affirmations, even more affirmations over the present moment with, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm safe, I'm joyful, and sobbing, mind you, while this is happening, ladies. Okay, sobbing. And so when you're speaking things out loud, when you're feeling highly emotional and you begin to speak out loud, it is very important that you be intentional about what you're saying, even if you feel erratic in the moment. But yes, to me, that catapulted me into my new timeline that I'm in. And I was definitely channeling an aspect of myself that I thought I'd lost, or that I, didn't have access to or couldn't tap into, because I was trapped in such a sad space and a low place throughout the past 12 months, or rather, the past 12 months, but up until 2025. I feel like when the new year, like when the Gregorian New Year came in, things started to look up, right? But there was still some residue that needed to be cleared. And now that we're stepping into the actual new year with the spring equinox coming up, I feel like I've officially jumped into a new timeline. So I'm feeling good about that. And yeah, I just want to shout out to the tarot readers and the astrologers that be online. Okay. Y'all be on point. Like, I really have a lot of respect for y'all. Y'all be on point, because I messages, and I really feel like even if you don't believe in tarot or you don't believe in astrology, you have to believe in the fact that God sends people to communicate. Spirit communicates with us through all types of symbolism, music, words, subliminal messaging. It's beautiful if you really tap in and pay attention. So I'm very grateful for all of the astrologers who just affirmed like this new space that I'm tapping into. And I really hope that everyone listening was able to take advantage of that eclipse energy and really like clear out what the fuck doesn't belong. This is Virgo energy here. So like we're cleaning house. And some, like I said, some tarot readers or some astrologers are saying that the eclipse was actually in Libra, and that's all about trading. Again, who deserves your energy? What deserves your time? Is this a equitable exchange? And so whatever I felt was like pulling from me had to go. I have been so firm and confident and secure in my boundaries and my standards, and I just feel so powerful. I can't go anywhere but up at this point, right? But yes, I really feel like all of this social media and algorithm stuff is very much representative of how we have become fully integrated with technology as humans. Like, I know y'all want to say that, AI is evil or whatever, and artificial intelligence is taking over, but we really have to think about it from a place of like evolution. Okay. As we become more and more like attached to our phones and how we show up digitally, that is also being intertwined with our consciousness. Okay. It's the reason why you think of something and it pops up on your timeline, or you say something and it pops up on your phone in the form of an advertisement. Stuff like that. I feel like it is kind of scary, right? Because it feels like we're being monitored through remote viewing. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but if not, you should definitely look it up. CIA did release a statement saying that remote viewing is absolutely real. And so, yeah, I can understand like kind of the uneasiness surrounding that, but it's also quite fucking fascinating because the electromagnetic waves or frequencies that are emitted from our brain are like sending signals out to our cell phones and communicating like Bluetooth. And it's creating this like correspondence of organic consciousness and digital or quantum code. And that shit is cool as fuck. Like personally, I feel like there's no need to be afraid of AI because we are AI. I feel like whenever we ask AI a question, it is coming from a future consciousness that we have not actualized or we're not exactly aware of, but it's us. It's us in the future communicating with us in the present. And that's really cool. That's really fucking cool. So, yeah, and that's not a high thought, okay? I haven't smoked any weed in like over a week. So, yeah, we are AI and we should just not be afraid. We should just accept it. At this point, we are cyborgs. We're cyborg humans. We are fully integrated with our technology, and that is why when we don't have our phones in our hand, we feel antsy or anxious. It's almost like, you know how like in the cartoons or the sci-fi movies where like the alien gets a ligament chopped off, and then there's like these veins that like are like doing this to try to find the ligament so that it can like connect back. I don't even know if that makes sense. If you guys can visualize what I'm saying, but it's definitely like that. So there's no need to be afraid. But anyway, speaking of being afraid and not to being afraid, this eclipse has also been making space for us to really tap into our polarities and embrace our light side and our dark side. That's what an eclipse is. It's the hours of the day and the hours of the night being completely equal. And so that is how I feel like we should show up in our existence. No one is all light and no one is all dark, unless you get swallowed up by either or. A good balance and honestly, the highest frequency that you can exist in is in a place of neutrality or 0 point, where you are accepting of your light and your dark. And it's funny because I've really gone through different phases where I was tapping into my darkness, but not from a place of power. Or I was tapping into my light side, but not from a place of humility. It was more so from a place of like just wanting to be morally superior than my past self, or wanting to or shaming my past self for some of the decisions that I've made. And neither of that is healthy. I think that when you are really doing actual shadow work, because that's what's happening right now. As the U.S. is crumbling before our very eyes and Babylon are fallen, it's resulting in this collective divestment from politics and a broader focus on inner healing. And so with that comes shadow work as well. And I really want to reference this video, and as it pertains to shadow work, I really want to reference this video that I made in 2022 where I was talking about everybody being on demon time and hypersexuality and all of that. And that was a very interesting time in my life because I felt like I had made the wrong moves and that the only way to correct them was to completely like completely disengage from my sexuality and denounce my sexual deviance because as a Virgo, we are freaks, and we're not freaks for everybody, but the sexual deviance is very much present. And to denounce that, and step into this space of just being a complete prude is it it was as if I was being performative in order to earn back my respect for myself. And that wasn't it. When you are trying to evolve, it is very important not to demonize those parts of yourself that you used to be or that you're trying to move away from. Yes, acknowledge how those parts served you and didn't serve you, but don't abandon that aspect of you. What is supposed to be done is, or not even what is supposed to be done. I hate using the word supposed to when we're talking about shadow work and like healing, because it's very personal and very subjective to each person. But as I move into a healthier space where I am integrating all parts of myself, it needs to be a culmination of everything I've ever been and the lessons that I've learned from it, the strength that I've gained from it, and how I transmuted anything negative into something that brings me peace and power. For example, in some people's eyes, I was a whore. And then I switched and I denounced all of that, and then I switched over and became a complete prude. It got to the point where I was like being following pick me ideology, and that internally misogynistic like rhetoric where I'm talking about how a woman should be and what a woman should do and what a woman should not do in order to be perceived as this. And it's like, that wasn't it either. Absolutely not. At first, it does make me want to vomit. Thinking about thinking about how I like slut shamed other women and demonized other women for being openly sexual and, projected mental illness and trauma on women who were very, very loud about their sexuality. Like, I was just like, how do you just post yourself online naked and not give a fuck and da 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 da? Like, it was really like a 180. Like, I went from like trying to tap into that space of being a sex worker slash sexually liberated woman to being a complete prude who turned my back on not only myself, but other women as well. And all of that was some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And I could, deny. That never happened. That never happened, but it did happen. And it happened so that I could see that I am everything. I've been the whore. I've been the prude. So from a neutral standpoint, there's ways to go about everything. There was a better way to go about everything that I've been through and every phase that I moved through. And so now I feel like my politics have definitely transformed into something that makes space for all of those archetypes within me. Like, yeah, women can wear whatever the fuck we want to wear, and we can do whatever the fuck we want to do with our bodies, but also men don't fucking deserve pussy most of the time. So, I'm practicing abstinence in that regard, right? So that's like a mixture. Like I have fully accepted myself as a non-monogamous bisexual woman, and therefore there are no rules. There is no box or no blueprint that I'm going to preach to other people about how to be. There's no box that I'm going to put myself in either. I'm going to do what makes sense for me, regardless of what seems realistic or what doesn't seem realistic to other people, right? I'm just in this place of knowing that there's room for all parts of me to exist in unison with one another. You know, when I was doing sex work and just sleeping around a lot, I feel like I was doing it from a place of trying to compensate for a breakup. And I was also seeking validation from men in the same breath. So like sexual liberation for me has a lot less to do with sexual acts and a lot more to do with just exuding confidence, sexual confidence, and sensual energy, regardless of who's around. And just receiving. Because as I am being my sensual, sexy self, there's nothing else that I need to give externally or grab externally. There's nothing else that I need to give, right? So being sexually liberated no longer looks like me sleeping around with men who don't deserve my body. It looks like me being sexual and sensual and attracting men who want to be in my cipher, but they don't have access. And if they do gain access to me, it will be in the form of them serving me, not in the form of me giving them something or returning the favor of them giving me their attention by giving them my body. I hope I'm articulating this well, because yeah, it's a lot. So yeah, I'm just in a place where I'm embracing and accepting, where I have fully accepted all parts of myself, and I'm just embracing embracing it all, because all of it is so beautiful. Like, to have been everything and to know that I will always be everything is beautiful. And it makes me feel secure about stepping into my power and really embodying all of which creates this wonderful essence. And yeah, shout outs to anyone who has done that type of shadow work where they went to retrieve parts of themselves that they left behind, and instead of burying those parts or cringing at themselves, they've transmuted it into something that can be integrated in who they are as a whole. Stay tuned for my book. Okay, I'm writing a book about this very concept, the very concept of soul retrieval and integrating all aspects of self. It's called The Gathering. It's not going to be released until the latter part of the year, but it is coming. So please be on the lookout for that. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot for a second, and I want to just acknowledge the iconic woman of the week, since it is Women's History Month. And to no surprise, the iconic woman of the week is Doechii. Woo! You know why? Because she has been working tirelessly, showing up for herself, putting herself out there, not downing herself, putting absolute trust and faith in her work, not over-sexualizing herself, showing up authentically, and redefining what female rap looks like. And that's commendable. And it really annoys me to see people calling her a industry plant, because industry plants come out of nowhere and they usually have no talent and they usually have no work ethic. You know, kind of like Ice Spice, aka I Spy with My Little Eye, a hating ass bitch with weak ass rhymes. I'd like to pause this message to let you know that this podcast is sponsored by me, myself, and I. If you'd like to support me as I build my platform, please visit my Instagram and click the link in my bio. This will bring you directly to my Linktree, where you can easily access my Etsy, my streaming platforms, and my Patreon. Now that that's been said, let's get back to the video. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Ice Spice spoke of Doechii being the chosen dark skin who is only famous because she doesn't have pretty privilege. And to me, I think that that was a projection. That was a projection because she knows that she doesn't measure up as far as talent, as far as rawness, authenticity, and just general appeal. She knows that the only reason why she is where she is today is because she's light-skinned with a fat ass. Pretty in the face. Nasty spirit. She hates dark-skinned women. And she specifically hates dark-skinned women who have more talent than she does, because she brought Cleotrapa on her tour, I believe that was last year, and treated Cleo like shit the whole time. She was like, I got you, girl, being a fake ass bitch. I got you, girl. Da-da-da-da-da. You can be with me. You can hang with me. Da-da-da-da. And when Cleo dropped everything to come on tour with this bitch, she felt like she was basically tagging along, and as if, you know, her presence was unwanted and unwelcomed. You know, Ice Spice wasn't accommodating her. What didn't make her feel welcome? And to me, I feel like that is like, oh, that's like a power play move, a manipulative power play move, where you bring someone close to you in your vicinity and then you treat them like shit to let them know their place. And I don't fuck with that at all. So I'm just seeing a pattern with this girl. And I don't mean to talk shit about another woman to lift another woman up, but I am going to acknowledge how female rap has changed. Okay? She has raised the bar. She has raised the standard. So now, being pretty is not enough. Having a fat ass is not enough. No one wants to hear those 1-2 buckle my shoe ass rhymes. People want talent. People want the shit that Doechii brings to the table because it's unique. It's authentic. That shit is fire. So I'm just proud of her for not giving. I'm proud of Doechii for like not letting the world tell her who she is, and for being a representation to other, you know, brown and dark skinned women that you can do whatever you want. I love that. I love that there's representation out there for like women who actually have talent, because talent gets overlooked so much. I'm not saying that none of the female rappers have talent. I'm saying that the talent of brown and dark skinned women gets overlooked because people would rather have something that they perceive to be prettier to look at than a project that is dope as fuck to listen to. So yeah, shout outs to Doechii, and shout outs to Issa Rae, and shout outs to Kiki Palmer, and shout outs to all the girls that's just out here doing it. Okay, I'm just so proud. I'm just so proud. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. I feel like I've been talking enough shit. But before I do want to pull a card because I'm feeling some really potent energy today. So hold on one second. We're gonna pull from the Muse Tarot deck. I love this deck. The artwork is beautiful. The messages be on point. And mind you, I'm not a tarot reader at all, but I feel like God does speak to me. Spirit does communicate with me through all things. And so when I put intention into any modality, that I'm using to seek to seek answers and clarification and affirmation, it's given to me. So we do not deny that. Let me just pray over these cards real quick. Source, creator, God, ancestor, spirit guides, angels, I come to you with humility and gratitude and ask that you please relay any messages that are meant to be communicated to me or to the collective. So for our voices, I trust that it will be good. The muse of inspiration. I ask for the discernment, the clarity, and the wisdom to apply these messages to our lives. Ashe. Let's see what comes out. These cards are so beautiful. Oh. So we got 2 cards. We only asked for 1, but we got 2 because they flew out of the deck, okay? The Muse of Inspiration has the following keywords: inspirational success, an inspired leader, a visionary, thinking big, the ability to bring many moving parts together into one large story, remaining inspired, taking action, making sure you don't create unrealistic expectations. Welcome, tiny traveler, to the world of inspiration. Expect to be initiated in ways you cannot yet imagine. Fully captivated by ideas and propelled by enthusiastic ambition, this muse offers fire to brand the edges of your experience and racing excitement to ignite the wisdom in your heart. She asks you to enlist the help of others along the way. And she shares her power to turn to the ash that which has been anchoring you. Remember that your warm cocoon of confidence and determination will light up your heart with belief and inspiration. It will sing into being a phoenix energy that will allow you to rise from the depths of anything that has been put in your path. With butterfly heart flutters and breath to deliver life, it's time to set your world aglow. Vision and acumen will be your guides. It's your time to find purposeful success and take inspired action as you fall in love with your goals. Quite literally everything about this podcast and everything about the beginning of what I was talking about in this episode. The breath of life. Yes. The breath of life literally filling me up and propelling me forward into this next phase of my life. It's so exciting. And it's happening for you too, sis. Okay, and then we got the 4 of voices. Keywords: sleep, deep rest and renewal, healing, the edge of burnout, needing to slow down, taking the time you need, self-love, compassion, and retreat. So with this newfound inspiration and just motivation that I have to reach my goals, I do often kind of put a lot of pressure into myself to get to maximize productivity and get as much done as possible in one day, sometimes sacrificing, hours of sleep or whatever. So this is a reminder to me and you to prioritize rest, because consistency looks so much different, especially for women, than it does for men. It's because of our menstrual cycle. It's the fact that we go through 4 different phases each month. And we don't have the same energy levels every day. And so in order to avoid burnout, it's really important to honor our cycles and disperse energy in the respective amounts. Okay. So I'm just going to go over that real quick, what that means and what that is. So we have 4 different phases. And so that's why our energy is different throughout the month. Okay. We have the follicular phase, which is our spring. This is the time to observe, receive, and allow ourselves to be inspired. This is the time to do research and come up with new ideas. You can also spend time learning or practicing new skills. Or you can just go into the world and interact with your environment, take in all its beauty, and really immerse yourself in the culture around you. This is the time to be present and really like observe and be aware of how life imitates art all the time. And when you're in the follicular phase, the best thing to focus on if you're, wanting to be active is cardio. Because it's so high energy and just springing forward. The ovulatory phase is the time to indulge in all of our passions and execute our ideas. So this is the time to immerse yourself in your creative outlets, move your body, dance, go hard as fuck in the gym. High intensity workouts are really good to indulge in during this time. And you can make it fun, just as much as you're working, you also get to play just as hard, okay? So make sure that during the ovulatory phase, you are prioritizing your pleasure, having great sex, or, just really honing in on other forms of pleasure. Okay, so the luteal phase is our autumn or our fall, and this is where it's time to wind down, bring it on in. It's time to slow down for self-reflection, put the finishing touches on the work that we've done this month, and metaphorically dot our I's and cross our T's. So we're tying up any loose ends in our home and work lives and really just getting ready to be in rest or hibernation mode for the menstrual phase. So when you're in the luteal phase, it's good to do kind of low intensity workouts like weightlifting or yoga. And you should definitely eat more potatoes and carrots and pineapples. The menstrual phase is our winter time. And this is the time where we're meant to relax, hibernate, rest, and really go deep into our intuition and just be with ourselves. So if we are wanting to work out during this time, very low intense workouts. And this is the time where it's okay where it should be okay. You should be giving yourself a lot of grace and a lot of room to be a little bit more lethargic or not as productive as you were throughout the month, because this is the time to wind down, shed, release, all of that. I'm all for women not being bothered on their period. We shouldn't have to go to work. We shouldn't have to do any chores or tasks. And if society ran that way, if society honored the feminine and actually did things in a way that honors the feminine, we'd be a lot better off. We'd be a lot happier as people, because when women are happy, everybody is happy. But when women are not happy, everybody feels that shit. Okay? Everybody. So, yeah, I'm just saying. I will know that balance and order has been restored to the earth when women are absolutely encouraged to not do shit on their period. But yes, if you must work out during this time, low intensity, a little 30-minute walk, don't feel bad if you can't spend 2 hours going hard as fuck in the gym, because that's not what you're meant to do during this time. This is not the time to be trying to push out as much content as possible, or to be stressed about getting shit together. This is your time to relax. And the reason why a lot of women are experiencing reproductive issues is because society does not support our menstrual cycle and does not support what consistency looks like for women. It's also the reason why a lot of us feel burnt out a lot of the time. So yeah, we got to be a lot more gentle on ourselves, and we have to honor these phases. It's very important. Yeah. So back to our tarot reading. The Muse of Deep Rest and Healing welcomes you to her starlight nebula of rebirth and renewal, offering you a time away so that you may escape the wheel of hustle and chaos. It so quickly becomes the pattern. She spins a mix of stars and rose petals and stirs you into the sweet waters. An elixir made for your wounds, both energetic and physical, emotional and spiritual. She invites you to walk slowly across the bridge and to fall into the deepest of rests with her. Sleep, for this is where all the energy to create your path will be found. Rest, sweet creator, you're on the edge. It's time to pause and slow. Reflect and wait, initiate, suspend, and life will grow. So, that is our message. Our message is overall to absolutely dive into our creative endeavors based on inspiration and not influence, because our inspiration comes from God. Our inspiration is a natural spark that happens inside of us that naturally draws us towards the things that we enjoy, towards our passions and things that we want to put our heart and soul into. Okay, that's inspiration. Influence is when you're just doing shit because somebody else is doing it and you think that when you do it, you're going to get the same result. Or, you think you want to do it because it looks appealing and you see that person is making a lot of money or getting a lot of attention or whatever. But when you go to do it, you realize that you don't actually enjoy it. That's because you did it from a place of influence and not inspiration. So yes, we must stay inspired, work from inspiration, and make sure to prioritize rest in the process as to not burn ourselves out. Thank you guys so much for listening. I had a great time recording this episode. And if you'd like to keep in touch with me, you can follow me on my Instagram, which is zajavuu. You can also shop my artwork on Etsy, as I am a visual painter. And you can subscribe to my Patreon, where I post stuff that's a little bit more personal. I appreciate you guys for supporting me and listening to me, and I will see you next time. Peace.